Hi folks, this is Sue Bell from ThemeZoom.com, and I'm here today to show you another filter from the last keyword tool. I've been doing some research for Kraken, and we're refining the blueprint algorithms, and one of the easy ways for me to try to figure out how I wanted to manipulate that was to use some filters actually within the last keyword tool. It let me see the data that was coming back quicker and easier than actually going in and changing the code within Kraken. So while I was doing that, I came across a filter that I just really love, and I wanted to share it with you. And it's what I call the supporting keyword filter. So let me just give you a quick demonstration. First of all, what that does. Let's go into something like affiliate program, and I'll apply this filter. Something there. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to wipe it out. And looks like it's probably the same filter. That would make sense because I'm really in love with this filter at the moment. So I'm going to put that filter in there. I'm going to click Apply Filter. It's going to bring me back. Now, this doesn't bring me back too many keywords, 17. When I'm looking for supporting keywords, I'm looking for a selection of somewhere around 20. Now, ultimately, I'm only going to select about 5, but I like to have more than 5 when I sit down to actually write an article, so that I can kind of look over the keywords and pick out 5 that sort of go together and make a theme that supports my parent theme without having to think too hard. So that's what this filter is designed to do, and as you can see here, it's come back, when you think about affiliate program, it's come back with quite a few terms. They've all got a nice amount of cost, decent amounts of searches, and I put the Larry in there just because I like to see how relevant a term is. And so this is a fairly nice set of keywords. I can definitely pull some ideas from there and write my article on affiliate program without too much difficulty. So now what I want to do is actually break this filter down for you and show you what it is it's doing. So I'm just going to paste it in here again because it's a little hard to see it in the edit window there. And we'll just take a look blow by blow at exactly what this is doing. So the first thing, we'll take it down to the and joins two different ideas together. For those of you who aren't too familiar with this, is actually like a where clause within a SQL query. It's very similar to that. So let's spread this out a little bit so it's a little bit easier to see. So what I'm saying here is I'm looking for Google competing pages that are less than, and this is a really lousy way to write this. You know, somebody wrote it, probably me, a long time ago, and I clearly hadn't had coffee. And there's an easier shorthand here, and we can just say times 0.95. So that means I want it smaller than the Google competing pages of the seed term. So this is going to take the seed term, the competing pages for the seed term, and multiply it by 95. So you get 95% of that. And then I want the competing pages for each one of the keywords to be smaller than that value. So that's what the first thing is doing. The second thing is here. And this is a fancy way of saying try. This is Larry, our algorithm for Larry. And I'll admit that Kelly came up with that, and I don't really understand it. So, I mean, I have a vague idea of what's going on. I know what Bayes is, and I know what the LSI is, but just kind of like fiddled around with the numbers to try and get something that would work and give us a relevance that felt kind of like try, and that was what he came up with. And so I'm looking for a relevance factor greater than 40. Now, this is something that you can manipulate, and we'll go through that here in just a second. One of the real and then this here is I'm looking for some kind of cost in traffic. I want it greater than a dime. If it has absolutely no Google AdWords cost or traffic, it'll come back with a nickel by default anyway. So if I could say greater than a nickel, but I just felt like saying greater than a dime because it, you know, puts a little bit of value on the keyword. And then the last bit is where, no, that's not the last bit yet. Keyword term is greater than 1. Let me show you what that means. This is the last bit here. We'll come back to that in a second. Keyword term greater than 1. That means that like affiliate program actually has 2 words in that keyword. So that means that the term is greater than 1. Affiliate would be an example of a keyword that has only 1 term in it. So I don't want those tops of vertical markets. I want it to have at least 2 or more terms in it. So that's the Y4 of this right here. And then the last bit, keyword uses greater than 1. Now this is the really cool part, because what we do, can I use the word scrape in a video? Anyway, I'm going to use it anyway. Pardon me if it's a 4-letter word. We scrape the top competitors for your seed term, and predominantly we look at their metadata. We look at a few other things on their pages, but predominantly we look at the metadata, and we grab all the terms out of there. And this is how many times the keyword is used on your competitors. And we look at a large number of the competitors because we're grabbing that information for so many other things that we do in the analysis phase. So we go down pretty deep, and that allows us to have a pretty good idea of, in most markets, of what terms are used more than once. And it's kind of another feel for relevance. In other words, if your competitors are using this term over and over again, then clearly it's a fairly important term to the marketplace. Now, you're not going to get expert verbiage this way. Expert verbiage is much more rare. But in terms of keywords that are easy to work into your content, I found it to be a great addition to this Larry concept up here. Because Larry gives you a semantical relationship, and the way that we do the semantical relationship is we look specifically within our market, that market that you're drilling into, to determine whether or not it's relative. This isn't like a semantic relationship to all of the content at large. This is we look specifically at content that's based on that market. But even still, this helps to refine that even further. So what you can do here is you can do a Larry score down even as far as 20 or as far as 10 and get really great terms because of the keyword uses thing. Now, there are some markets that, especially when you get into really nichey things, where people don't use the same term more than once for more than maybe 1 or 2 keywords. So this filter doesn't always work, and sometimes I have to take this part out and put this back up to something like 60 or at least above 40 in order to get the terms that I'm looking for out of there. But when it is a market where there's enough consistency between the different competitors out there, where they're using a lot of the same terms over and over again, I find this to just be a really killer filter. So I had to share it with you so that you guys could get out there and use it too. And yeah, I'm having fun with this. I think this is going to be part of a filter series that I'm going to share with you. So we'll put up a blog post with this. I'll make sure that you guys have this filter. I'll probably rework it a little bit and maybe put the Bayes thing down at the bottom, so that the Larry thing down at the bottom, so that it's a little bit easier to find this number and modify it. And then you can just grab that and throw it into TLKT and be off and running. So thanks, folks. I'll talk to you again soon. This is Sue Bell from ThemeZoom signing off.